Hell in a Cell is this weekend, the pay-per-view where we're guaranteed at least 2 Hell in a Cell matches. It's a very quick card. Let's take a look at it. So we're going to have Alexa Bliss facing off against Shayna Baszler. And then from then on out, it's just championship matches. It's Rhea Ripley defending her Raw Women's Championship against Charlotte Flair. Bianca Belair defending her WWE SmackDown Women's World Championship against Bayley and Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre in a last chance Hell in a Cell match that if Drew McIntyre loses, he will not get another chance against Lashley for the world title. And finally, in what is likely to be our main event, Roman Reigns taking on Rey Mysterio in a Hell in a Cell match on Father's Day. So we'll get into the matches individually in a second, but Trevor, why don't you just give me your general impressions of the card as it stands?
It's got strong points, but it's kind of weak. There's some matches that are kind of weak. I mean, I'm happy it's only 5 matches. That I'm impressed by. But it also makes me think that the Hell in a Cell matches are going to be like almost 2 hours long. So,
I mean, they've said it's just 3-hour pay-per-views from here on out. So that's not, I think, going to be a problem. I mean, the general problem I have with Hell in a Cell as a pay-per-view concept, like, is the fact that it shouldn't happen. Like, Hell in a Cell, like, as a pay-per-view, like, this is. Like, I know what it is. It's WWE, like, Hell in a Cell. And, like, that's fine. Okay. They have TLC. They have Hell in a Cell. They have Elimination Chamber. They have... and they don't have a great marketing department, apparently, because they can't come up with any better names. Regardless of that, right, one thing that I do like about this card is that it features predominantly championship matches, like world championship matches. You got you got the women's world championship matches. You have the Universal and WWE titles on the line at this pay-per-view. So what we're seeing is the things that are supposed to be in the forefront are on the line at this pay-per-view, and I think that's a good thing. The one thing that I don't think is going to be good, and unfortunate as it is the Alexa Bliss Shayna Baszler match. And
don't be good at all.
We've talked about this, right? We've talked about the whole Alexa Bliss Shayna Baszler thing, where Alexa Bliss and the doll essentially entrapped Shayna Baszler some way in this terrible segment on Raw. By the way, Raw's numbers. Did you see this? Raw's numbers were down to 1.7 million.
Shocking.
Yeah, so they lost 100,000 viewers from last week. I wonder why. But yeah, so they set up this match between Alexa Bliss and Shayna Baszler as a challenge to Alexa Bliss, and it's just this is just gonna be shenanigans. I just see shenanigans written all over this match.
I mean, if you're gonna have this match, make it like a stipulation match. Make it something interesting, But
of all the things to put in Hell in a Cell, why not this? Just make it goofy over the top. Put it. But dude, they made the cell red. It's like perfect for Alexa Bliss and this terrible gimmick that they have her doing. It's amazing. Like it's just all in on the terribleness.
I'll tell you a match that I'm not really looking forward to though, and it's probably because they're not. They did the story to it was kind of awful. The women's championship match for Raw. I'm not really looking forward to that.
Yeah, so let's go to that next. So Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley, who's a champion, have been involved in the feud to literally see who's the more obnoxious person. It's a tie. It doesn't like look, I love both of them. They're world-class performers. That being said, I don't care. Nobody cares.
No one cares.
There's not a single soul who's been watching Raw. End the sentence right there. There's not a single soul who's been watching Raw. But there's no one who's been watching Raw that is like, oh, this is what I'm looking forward to the most on this show. Like, it's very bland. They don't really do much other than cut not good promos on each other, and which is kind of sad because Charlotte Flair is actually a good promo when she's allowed to be. But this match is nothing for me. Are they going to go out there and probably have a good match? Yeah, because they're world-class performers. But again, I'm not interested.
Yeah, it's at this point, dude. I don't care. Since Charlotte Flair has been back, she's been completely and utterly obnoxious. I mean, that's not much of a change, but she has been. And that's not to say that I think she's a terrible wrestler, because I don't think she's a terrible wrestler. I think the way they're taking her character, I think they're ruining it. Honestly, I think they're taking the Charlotte Flair character, and they're like pretty much pissing on it at this point, because I find her absolutely obnoxious right now. Like, I mean, before she was annoying, but now you just want her to shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? And I can't care less about her and Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, it's not great, but I mean, at the end of the day, I do think, and we'll get to our predictions for in a minute, like at the end for all of these matches, but in the end, I do think they might actually put the belt on Flair. They might actually end up putting the belt on her here just to have it on there for SummerSlam. But because you want to have a heel champion, I think, and we'll get to talking about heel champions in WWE, because oh boy, are there a lot. But you want to have a strong heel champion, I think, going into SummerSlam to hopefully have a face beat them for it. But we'll see what happens there. Trevor, in a match that I think you and I are looking forward to is a rematch from WWE Backlash. It's going to be Bianca Belair versus Bayley. And yeah, I think this is going to be a good match.
I think it's going to be a good one too. I mean, now, I don't think, again, we'll talk about predictions later, but I don't think she's going to lose the championship. But I honestly think it's going to be a hell of a match, though. I think it's going to be a hell of a match. They had a great match before. I think this is just another build-up. But I honestly think after this, Bianca needs to wrestle someone else. You need to showcase Bianca with other talent after this, though.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a surprise in my prediction that might change things, but I like this feud. I actually do like the feud, because it's the entire time it's been Bayley being a very cocky, obnoxious heel, which I think is a good thing to do. One person be obnoxious, and then Bianca Belair be the amiable babyface who everyone likes and who everyone wants to like. Wrestling isn't hard. It's simple. It's effective. I like it. I'm interested. And these are two amazing athletes who I actually want to see being showcased. So, perfect combination there. WWE. Not that hard. Just keep going with it. Let's get to our men's championship matches now. We have Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre in a last chance Hell in a Cell match. If Drew loses, he will not get another title shot against Bobby Lashley for the title. So a lot on the line for Drew McIntyre here. They had Drew McIntyre pin Bobby Lashley on Raw in a tag team match just this past Monday. So they're putting over the effectiveness of the Claymore kick. Going into their match at WrestleMania, one of the things that Drew McIntyre really emphasized was the fact that I'm gonna hit you with the Claymore, and then I'm gonna become WWE champion. Like that. That's my Drew McIntyre. But that's like what they were building for the longest time, was the danger of the Claymore kick to Bobby Lashley. It's the first time we've seen it be effective, because it's really the first time he's hit it on him during this run. So I think it's an interesting story. But what do you think, Trevor?
So I never thought I'd say that WWE has made me completely uninterested in seeing Drew McIntyre wrestle, but
WWE has made you completely uninterested in Drew McIntyre wrestle.
They have, and the thing is, it's not because Drew is a terrible wrestler, because we've rant and raved about how good he is and how he's taken WWE through the hardest time possible and put the company on his back. Like, it's not Drew. Drew, if you're watching this, do not squash me. It has nothing to do with you. But like, I've seen the same fucking match with Drew McIntyre every fucking week. Like, I feel like Drew has to fight for a number one contender match like every 2 weeks. Like, yeah. It's just, come on, and it's always the same people too. It's never anyone else. It's always the same people, and like it's just getting old, man. It's just getting old, and it's just getting stale, and it's a damn shame, because he's probably the most talented wrestler on your roster. As far as Raw is concerned, and you're making people tired of him, and I think it's just damn shame.
Yeah, and look, the last chance thing, I like the fact that they put it in there, because WWE it adds something to it, But do we expect WWE to really hold on to that stipulation? Probably not. But finally, let's get to it on Father's Day. On Father's Day, in the main event of Hell in a Cell, Roman Reigns is going to crush the dreams of Dominik Mysterio and Rey Mysterio by squashing Rey Mysterio in what will likely be the shortest Hell in a Cell match in WWE history. That's my prediction for this match, by the way. And he will throw Dominik Mysterio off the cell. It will be a terrible Father's Day. He's gonna he's gonna destroy Rey Mysterio in the cell. Throw Dominik off the cell. They're gonna the father and son are gonna spend Father's Day night in the hospital. It's going to be a bloodbath, and the tribal chief, acknowledge him, Trevor, will wind up on top. What do you think of this match, Trevor?
I think. But you know what? Rey Mysterio has had some very entertaining matches, especially with people bigger than him, you know? So this could be a very good match. Very good match. I mean, he's going to get squashed like a bug at the end of things, but it's going to be I think it could be a very good match. And it's just an interesting scenario put him in the first place. Like, how did this match even come about? Yeah, I mean, if you haven't been paying attention, how would this match even come about? It's interesting. I guess they, decided to put Roman in there with a vet and see how it works. So we'll see.
See, for me, I think they didn't even have to do this match, to be honest, because I don't want to see Roman Reigns wrestle at this pay-per-view. If you want me to be honest, Roman Reigns shouldn't wrestle now until SummerSlam. He should not defend his title until SummerSlam. Like, the whole the champion needs to defend the title every month thing is contrived and untrue, because look at Brock Lesnar doesn't defend the belt when he's champion. So that doesn't even matter anymore. For me, if you want to put Roman over as the next big guy, have him only wrestle for primetime matches. Like, right. I love Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio versus Roman Reigns at Hell in a Cell is not a primetime match that I would have Roman wrestle in. You could do the same thing you're gonna do, because the whole thing is they want to get over this faction that Roman Reigns is building with the Usos. You could do a match with the Usos and Rey Mysterio for the tag team belts, which they're gonna do eventually. And have that in Hell in a Cell, and then have the same thing happen. Roman Reigns interferes, he beats up Rey Mysterio, and he throws Dominik Mysterio off the cell. I'm telling you, that bump is happening. That bump is 100% happening.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen, but it's again, it's one of those things. I don't like to see Roman Reigns, at the wrestling here, because it's just a waste of a championship match, and honestly, a waste of a slot on this pay-per-view.
Yeah, I agree. You could have put some other, lower profile, some other match.
Although they don't even know what they're doing with the Intercontinental Championship anymore, because Aleister Black just got cut. That whole feud is out the window. So who knows? Who knows what they're gonna do? Yeah. Anyway, Trevor, Roman Reigns versus Rey Mysterio. Who wins and why?
Roman Reigns, because he's a tribal chief. 1 and 2. It's just.
Thank you for acknowledging.
And 2, I mean, right now. Rey Mysterio, losing to Rey Mysterio would totally mess up his momentum at this point. So no, I mean, saying.
I can't believe I'm saying this, dude. I think WWE fans would riot if Rey Mysterio won the championship off of Roman Reigns.
At this point, yeah. Like I said, I think it would mess up his momentum. Honestly,
so many people would be in the streets, like fucking burning buildings down. I'm not advocating that, by the way, but that would happen if Rey Mysterio.
I'm happy Rey has a belt. I am. I'm happy he has the championship go. I am.
No, yeah. In all seriousness,
I just don't think it makes sense for him to win the championship.
Yeah, in all seriousness, there's zero chance of that happening. Bianca Belair versus Bayley. I think. So I have an interesting prediction here, but you go first.
Honestly, I said earlier that Bianca should win the belt. Should keep the belt. I honestly think Bayley's gonna win, though. I have a sneaking suspicion that Bayley's gonna win.
I think so too. I think Bayley should win. And you should have her win by cheating in the worst way possible, so Bianca can come out there and just. I want to. You know what I want to see? I want to see Bianca Belair in a position where she's kind of forced to get a little bit of an edge, right?
Right.
Because she herself in this character she plays is pretty great because it's not a character, it's her, right? She's a very nice, amiable, like happy-go-lucky baby face, and it works for her, and it doesn't work for everybody, so that's a good thing in her favor. But for her to have staying power, you got to have that little bit of an edge, and I think that's something I want to see out of Bianca Belair, get that next step. So put her in that position where, my God, Bayley cheated to win. Now I got to be on my A game and do it again. Have it happen again at whatever B pay-per-view is next. I think it's Money in the Bank. Have that happen again. And then at SummerSlam, have Bianca Belair and Bayley in like a hardcore match or something. And then just put out all the stops and show this mean streak to Bianca Belair. Yes. Because you know why? Because it worked when they did it with Becky Lynch.
Sure did.
And look at her now. And I'm not saying like, it's not gonna be the same, right? But there's like basic tenets that you can follow that can lead to her getting even more over. And build to her overall character. So that's what I want to see. Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley. Charlotte. Bobby versus Drew McIntyre in a Hell in a Cell. If Drew loses, he will not get another title shot.
So I have a thought about this match.
Okay.
So, I think Bobby wins, right? Bobby wins. What's coming up soon? The WWE draft. Right?
I think the WWE draft. Yes, sir.
So what happens if Bobby wins? Drew can't challenge for the belt anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
They draft him to Raw. SmackDown. And you start a feud with Roman Reigns. Not right away, but you start a feud with Roman Reigns. I think that would be a very good program to watch. And
then have Roman be, or have Bobby be the guy to take the belt off of Roman eventually. That could be interesting.
Exactly.
That could be very that's not bad booking. I'm gonna go in like a similar thing, a similar way of thought, but I'm gonna go in like a bit of a different direction here. So what do we have coming up? When you said that, I originally thought you were talking about Money in the Bank, but I like that you went with the draft, so it's different. For me, It's what's next? Money in the Bank.
So that's a good one too.
Look, Drew loses this match. I think we both agree in that. You don't take the belt off of Bobby right now, but Drew loses this match. He doesn't have another chance to challenge for Bobby Lashley's title. So how does he get another chance to challenge for Bobby Lashley's title? He wins Money in the Bank next month, and then that automatically gives him a world title match against whoever he wants. So So that gives him another rematch opportunity against Bobby Lashley, and I think that would actually be a fine out. That like if you want to find a way out, like I think that's kind of what you go for, because like you set it up so that Drew wins the Money in the Bank.
Right.
And is in a position where he has to win. This is his only chance to ever regain the title that he wants to hold up in front of fans, right? Like I think that's a good story to tell. So that's where I think that's where I hope this goes. Where it will go, whoever writing's Raw is gonna determine, and that's not a good sign.
With the hat on it? Yeah, that's right, Raw.
Speaking of the cat in the hat who's writing Raw, Alexa Bliss versus Shayna Baszler. Prediction.
Who cares? Alexa, unfortunately.
The doll wins, Trevor.
Yeah,
the doll always wins. Thanks for watching this video from Real Take Sports Talk. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Also remember to check out our live show every single Thursday at 8 p.m. right here on the YouTube channel. And remember, keep it real.